She received a telephone call telling her something has happened to her only child and it's very bad. She needs to hurry up and come to the scene. She panicked. Sit back as I share the story of a Nigerian mom and her son who are facing serious trouble in the UK. The story starts with Remy. Remy's marriage broke down in Nigeria and she was looking for a way to leave because she was ashamed of being a single mom in Nigeria. She has a child who at that time was coming to 11 years old. Remy's called her sister, says, sis, who lives in England, please help me to leave Nigeria. This sister said, I don't have money, but if you can come up with some money, I might be able to ask friends to see if they can help. Remy sold all her belongings in Nigeria and she needed some help from the sister who told her I will get a loan. They looked for somebody to help her and they were introduced to an agent. The agent said, look, I have a package. I will merge you with a man and you guys will come to the UK as husband and wife. Remy asked the sister, what about my son? The sister said, for now, forget about, leave your son with his father. When you settle down, before he reaches 16, you can come and bring your son to join you in England. Remy said, okay, I will listen to you. Remy and this man, whose name is Clement, they arrived in the UK when the visa was granted because the agent he did what he said he was going to do. The visa was granted very, very quick. Remy arrived in England. She settled in the north of England while the husband, the so-called husband, he was living in Glasgow in Scotland. Remy was missing her son. She was crying. So, I miss my boy. And she called the sister and said, sis, I'm really missing my son. Ayormide, which in Yoruba, it means my joy has come. I'm missing my son badly. This I said, look, think with your head, not your heart. Sort yourself out. When you settle down, you eventually go and bring your son. 3 weeks later, Remy said, okay, I'll listen to you. 3 weeks later, Remy called the sister again. Said, sis, I'm really, really missing my boy. I want him to come and be with me here. I don't have a man. It's lonely. I wish my boy was here so he can keep me coming. We can talk when I come back from work. I said, look, forget about all this, your talk. Think with your head. Bringing a child to the UK, raising a child on a single mom, doing shift is almost impossible. Don't do it. She said, what about you? You're a single mom. You're raising 2 children. I said, I'm a single mom, but my ex-husband is supporting. He has the children every other weekend. We co-parent. I have friends and family. I've lived in the UK for a long time. Listen to what I'm telling you. She was very upset. She said, you don't want me to bring my son. She said all sorts of things. After that, she did not even talk to her sister again. The son who was being cared for by his father, Remy came up with a plan. She told the husband, the son's father, that the son was going to spend some time with her own mom, that the son wasn't spending enough time with her own side of the family, and she wanted him to go and spend some time, 2 weeks, with her mom. The father agreed, not knowing that Remy had come up with a plan to bring the boy to the UK to come and meet her. She came up with this plan. When she was trying to raise money, the so-called arranged husband that they came together, Remy started putting pressure on the guy. She would call Clement, I need some money from you today. Clement said, I don't have money, but you know you're my dependent. I can easily remove you from the visa. She was threatening the guy would give her money. But when she got the visa for the son, she needed £500 from Clement. Clement managed to give her £300 and she stopped talking to him. She did not tell Clement what she was doing, that she was going to bring the son. The guy wasn't even told anything. The son arrived in the UK and mom went to register him in a school. She registered him in a school. A few weeks later, this kid started having problems because his friends noticed that when they walk back from school, which is not very far, he will be alone at home. He will tell his friends to come in. They will start playing computer game, eat food, make amends. By the time the mom come back from work around 8 something, the house looks like dump. The mom was worried. Before you know what was happening, when mom comes back, the boy will tell his friend will tell him, let's go play football in the park. Before you know what was happening, this young boy was then now introduced to drug selling by other people who wanted to make sure that the police doesn't suspect them. The boy will come to school, he will jump out. One fateful day, the boy was stabbed by other boys in the area. They tried to contact mom. They didn't get hold of mom on time. But when mom got the missed call, she then came back and she was crying. They would say, look, we're really, really worried. She then called the sister that she hasn't called for a while. She said, look, sis, this is what I'm dealing with. This sister said, look, it's not too late. Take this boy back home because this is going to get worse. It's not going to get better. She said, I'll listen to you, but don't worry, I'm going to send him back home. As soon as the injury healed, the boy was fine, went back to school. She went back, she didn't listen. Meanwhile, Clement, the father of the boy that she put down in the school as the next of kin, is not even aware that he has a so-called son in the UK now. Now, this fateful day, the mom took him to school. As soon as mom took him to school, he pretended as he was going to go into school. He allowed the mom to walk away. He came out, went to the street, pulled his uniform. He started doing things. Because of the first stab, social services were now involved. The boy was seen as a high-risk, vulnerable child. When he was in the school panicked. Where is this kid? They started looking for the kid. They looked for the kid. They called his mom, who at that time had already gotten into work. And mom works with vulnerable people. She's not allowed to pick her phone because she works in a care home looking after vulnerable people. The school called mom. They couldn't get hold of mom. They then called the father of the child on their record, who happens to be Clement. They called Clement. Clement was with his girlfriend, having a good time. The phone rang. Hello, can we speak to Clement? I said, yes, this is Clement speaking. I said, Clement, we are worried about your son. He came to say, which son? We're worried about your son. He said, which son? They say, is this Clement? They put the phone down. They call back again. Clement pick. Hello, this is Clement. I don't have a son. I don't have a son. Which son are you talking about? I don't have a son. His girlfriend was saying, Clement, what is happening? What is that? Your son, what? He said, I don't have a son. The school were surprised that the so-called person that the father, mom tell them, he's the next of kin, he's the father. He walks away. That's why he doesn't come around to help. He said he's not the father. They then suspected that something was happening. They called Ayorinde and said, look, what is going on? Where is your father? Who's your father? The boy said, my father is in Nigeria. Your dad is in Nigeria? I said, yes. What about Clement? I don't know who's Clement. Who's Clement? But your mom said he's your father. He's the next of kin here. I don't know. I've never known anyone. My father, the boy said, my father, my papa will born me. He's in Nigeria. I don't know who's Clement. The school looked bewildered. Mom has this man down as the father, and this boy said he's not the father. By the time mom came, they've already alerted the police and said, look, it looks like we're dealing with something very serious here. The boy is very, very adamant that Clement is not his father. When the mom came, they asked mom, which the president of the police, they've already spoken to the boy separately, who is the father of this beautiful boy. The mom said, Clement. She didn't know that they've already spoken to Clement. She said Clement is the father. She fell for the trap easily because on paper, he is the father of the child. She said, no, Clement. The mom said, the boy said he doesn't know Clement. He doesn't know who Clement is. So the boy doesn't know who Clement is. Clement said he doesn't know who the boy is, and you're still insisting that Clement is the father. Before you know what was happening, they contacted the Home Office. Meanwhile, when all these things was going on, the sister warned her that, look, you and this guy need to maintain some level of relationship because you came together as husband and wife, and there needs to be some linkage between you and him. Everything that the sister who has lived in the UK for 19 years told her sister, she completely ignored it. She went and do her own thing. And now She now landed herself in a situation where she was arrested for impersonation, and Clement cannot be found. The son is very, very clear that he is not my father. I don't know him. The woman is now blaming the devil, blaming that, oh, the sister should have told her the consequences. But the sister said, look, I told you from day one that, look, don't do this. Don't bring this kid here. You refuse to listen. And now you're blaming me. Who are you going to blame? What's one of the lessons that we can learn from this story? Number one, immigration fraud can destroy lives and family. You may think that you can get away with it, but one mistake, it can unravel your plan. Children abroad need stability and supervision. In the UK, county line, drug dealing where older adults use young children to sell drugs is ravaging society, ravaging this society. If you're going to bring any child to the UK and you're not going to have parental supervision supervising the child, if you're not careful, you're training the next drug dealer who may end up in prison or something bad happen. So if you do not have that support network, you're a single parent, think twice before you bring your child. Emotional decision can create long-term consequence. The sister warned Remy, think with your head, not your heart. I miss my baby boy. I miss my baby boy. She was crying. The sister said, look, think with your head. If you sort yourself out, by the time your son is 16, you can bring him. But she refused to listen to what the sister was advising her. A lot of people, especially some of our sisters, they make that mistake by thinking with their emotion, not their head. So if you're making a decision like that, if you have somebody to advise you, listen to them. Forced marriages and fake documents carried serious legal risk. It can damage life. Early intervention from school can protect vulnerable children. This boy was lucky. He was in a school that had the resources and teachers that cared passionately. If not, this boy would have been gone, because the school did everything to make sure whenever he's not in school, they'll call the parents, they identify him as a high-risk, vulnerable child, and they did everything to make sure that they protect this boy so this boy doesn't end up in the wrong hand. Honest communication within family could prevent tragedy like this. You have a sister who told you the truth, who consistently advised you. I have lived here for 19 years. I have seen a lot of things. Don't do it. Don't do it. You ignore the sister. And now you've landed yourself in serious situation. This woman sold everything to come to the UK. And the ex-husband, the father of Ayormide, has warned that the moment you arrive in Nigeria, I will get the authority to arrest you because you lied to me. You took my son to England without my consent, and you told me he was going to spend time with your mom only for him to end up in the UK. And throughout his stay in the UK, you kept him away, didn't speak to me. And now you're coming back to Nigeria. Meanwhile, Clement is still on the run. Do you blame Clement, or do you blame the sister for not going hard enough to advise Remy? Let me know what your views are in the comment section. If you know anyone that will benefit from this video, kindly share with them, because there are people that are making the same mistake. Maybe a video like this could sway them in terms of their decision making. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so. Let me know what your views are in the comment section. Peace and love. I'll see you soon.